First of all, congratulations on VHS. It is a fantastic watch. This anthology series has gone through so many iterations. What is it like to be
Yeah.
a part of this project?
Oh, it's such an honor. Obviously, I knew working on my segment Stowaway with Mike Flanagan as the writer, he's incredible at what he does, and Kate Siegel's directorial debut. I had no doubt that Kate would absolutely kill it, and she did. She's officially one of my favorite directors that I've ever worked with. She's absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to see more from her. But then, when you're working on one of the shorts of VHS, you don't really have any idea what everyone else is doing. Because I did talk to the practical effects team who made some of the stuff, no spoilers, for Stowaway. I did actually see some stills of things that they had worked on for some of the other segments, but I didn't have like a broad idea of what they were. And now having seen all of them, they're all so cool and so different. I think like there's so many different tempos and different approaches, and it's part of the fun of VHS is getting all these different directors who just like really commit to a vision. And when you work in a vacuum and you don't have an idea of what those others would be like, obviously biased, but I came out of it being like, oh, damn, we made a really good movie. Like, I think it's like one of the best entries in the franchise. I think it's absolutely awesome. So, yeah, just an honor to be a part of it at all, and really excited for everybody to get to see it.
Definitely, I definitely think that this version of VHS is, or this installment of VHS is one of the most intense ones. Your segment in general is very out there, very dark. What was it like being in this character? How do you get your mindset into something like this?
So the story of Haley, or Hallie, people keep pronouncing it differently, whatever you prefer. Um, is one that's really human and really relatable. I think what happens to her is very out of this world. Like you said, it's pretty dark, it's pretty dreadful. Obviously, sci-fi is the theme of the entire film. But what happens to her, and in getting into character for it, I just wanted to find the human heart of it, and that's really in the words. Like Mike Flanagan really wrote that in the script. It wasn't hard for me to find where it's somebody who just desperately wants to prove themselves. You're watching somebody who stubbornly, defiantly wants to prove that they are correct about something. They feel the need to be validated in the thing that they believe, and they are willing to lose everything in order to do it. She's effectively a conspiracy theorist. There are people who exist in the real world, and we all have little pieces of that inside of us, even if you don't go the full conspiracy theorist route, where you really want to prove yourself. You really want to believe that what you believe is right and good and true. So it's just like trying to pinpoint on that sentiment and that emotion. So when I'm acting in this role, I'm not trying to think about going to outer space.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think about loss, or I'm trying to think about stubbornness, or um, insecurity, I suppose, like the need to prove yourself. And all of those human elements that yeah, we really all do have. It's just extrapolated and painted with the sci-fi paint for this. So yeah, it's I think she's a very relatable character. It's a pretty relatable story, even if what happens is pretty crazy.
Definitely. And aside from having a great director, how important is it to have cast members who are equally as passionate and put as much as they can into a segment like this?
What's crazy is I didn't interact with any other cast member ever. The other segments that are shot with some of the other cast members, I was doing something else while that was being filmed. So I did all of that via ADR. So I just did it as VO later, but I was never actually there. So this whole acting experience is really just me talking to a camera, or like pretending to hold a camera, even though of course our director of photography, Michael Famignari, was mostly doing that. um, but I can speak to the crew, obviously, and definitely to Michael specifically, of like, it's Kate is obviously the head of the ship, but it's everybody has to work together and to believe in the thing and really want to make the thing for it to pan out. Patrick McGee, who did our effects, most of the practical effects, and his whole team of like people who just really want to make something awesome. It does require absolutely every single one of those people to believe and to give their all. We only shot for 5 days, so it was 5 days of everybody really, like I said, giving their all. And honestly, it's just kind of cool to witness. Like one of the coolest things about acting in something like this, and just living in that kind of like individual space, is you're dealing with so many people who are such like geniuses
Mhm.
at things that you know nothing about. Like there are terms that Michael Famignari would use for particular kinds of shots that I would have no idea what he's talking about, but he's such an expert and so experienced in that particular thing. And like Kate wanted to use a particular kind of camera and a particular kind of light, and that stuff is just like really, really fun to watch people just be absolute experts in a thing, and that you just get to sit back and just like watch them do their thing. So yeah, I didn't work with any other cast members, which is really wild. Just me and a camera, but everybody on the crew definitely had to bring their role, and I think that's like such a fun thing about indie filmmaking in general.
Definitely. Knowing that's incredible for you as an actress. That shows a whole different level of dedication. When people watch your segment, what do you hope their reaction is?
Well, I hope, and I know this is harsh, but I hope that they feel dread. That's the goal is that um feel they feel it afterwards, and I think that's like really a strength of Stowaway is the thing that hits you in this is maybe not as bombastic as some of the other segments. And like I said, I love that there's so much variety between the segments of VHS Beyond, but that it really hits you afterwards
Hmm.
the reality of what's happened in our short. That you take the time to think about what this character is going to go through for as long as she's going to go through it, and you go, "Oh, that's awful." If we can make you feel that, I think we've succeeded. Um, but otherwise, I think I would like people to take away an understanding from everything that happens, like an understanding of what can drive somebody to that point would be great. You know, it's a really small amount of time to tell a human story, and like I said, the script is so good from Mike that you know that she has a daughter, you know that she's thinking about her daughter and that she's being considered, you know that she there's a mentions to people at Berkeley and to presumably her husband having a lot of criticism of how obsessed she is in her pursuit of proving that aliens are real. Um, and to the outside, people who would do the things that she would do, you know, you could read about them on social media. You just call them crazy. You say that's a lunatic, they're crazy.
Hmm.
But I hope that with the way that we brought, ideally, a lot of human to this character, I'd love it if people are able to take away an understanding of how somebody could be driven to the point of doing what she chooses to do, um, willing to lose everything just to prove the thing she believes is real, and how it's easy to dismiss people who have these pursuits, like I said, as crazy, but there's part of that in all of us, I think.
Definitely. With an experience like this, does it make you want to do more psychological thrillers like this?
Oh my God, totally. There was some really fun stuff in doing it though that like I wasn't prepared for. So when you're doing horror acting, before the take starts, you do a lot of breathing and shaking because you're not scared of anything. I was just on a set with a bunch of people I knew. Like I was very comfortable, but you have to act really afraid, right? So there's a lot of like shaking and breathing. And one of the days I ended up having a panic attack, which I've never had before. And I was very caught off guard by it. And then I walked off set and I actually started crying, which I don't think anyone even knew because I guess there's like a really interesting thing where your body doesn't know you're not afraid. Like you're trying to trick yourself into appearing afraid. And so I was shocked, I guess. Even though I wasn't actually afraid of anything and my brain knew that, I guess my body didn't know that.
Hmm.
It's definitely like super exhilarating and really fun. And it's a fun space to work in because to watch someone go through something that she goes through or psychological horror in general is like you're really watching like just an extrapolation of a human breaking down. Something that's really, really relatable, but it's so heightened in a way that you kind of like don't really get to play with. So definitely like gonna try to figure out a means to not have a panic attack ever again. Like it was crazy. It was so over the top. I had no idea that would happen, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's really, really fun and really raw, and you get to do a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't do in everyday life. So yeah, I had a great time. I would do it over again in a heartbeat for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. The entire anthology on its own is incredible. Your section is brilliant. So congratulations, and
Thank you. Thank you so much.
you did an amazing job.
Thank you. I'm so glad you liked it. And yeah, I'm just like I said, just really proud to have been any part of it at all.